If you are put on the low FODMAP diet, that does not mean that FODMAPs are hurting your gut microbiome. I recently made a video where I said that dairy is not disrupting your gut microbiome unless you have a lactose intolerance or a milk allergy. And someone made a good comment about FODMAPs because lactose is a FODMAP. So FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. So if you have IBS, you were put on a low FODMAP diet so we can eliminate a lot of high triggering foods, and then we'll slowly reintroduce each group to figure out what you are having issues with. So it's not that lactose is disrupting your gut microbiome because you were put on the low FODMAP diet. It's that if you have a lactose intolerance, then milk would disrupt your gut microbiome. But you go on the low FODMAP diet to find out if you're reacting to dairy. And then let's say we do the whole reintroduction phase. We reintroduce every single FODMAP except for lactose and you have no issue. And then all of a sudden we introduce lactose and you have a bunch of issues. Then we would want to find out if you have a lactose intolerance or you have a intolerance to the proteins in milk, whey or casein, or if you have an allergy, which we would probably figure that out before we got to that point. But at the end of the day, dairy is probably only upsetting your gut microbiome if you have a lactose intolerance or a milk allergy, or you left the milk out too long, or you got food poisoning, or some other issues going on where your body is just hyper reactive to things because there's so many other things going on. Like maybe you had a histamine intolerance and that's why you don't tolerate yogurt. It's not the lactose, it's the fact that fermented foods like yogurt, sorry, stop playing, trigger a histamine response in your body. So it's really just not that simple, but hopefully that gave you some insight on the fact that dairy might not be bad for you. You just really have to narrow it down. And if you are on a really restrictive diet, I would encourage you to try to reintroduce more foods. And if you have a hard time with that, I would work with a dietitian. It doesn't need to be me. Obviously, I would love to help you, or you could join my community and we can talk about things like this. But yeah, that's the best answer I could give right now. And I hope I answered your question.